Hola Madridistas, welcome to the first preview of the 23-24 La Liga season. We got things kicked off in fine fashion yesterday with our new talisman scoring and our old talisman from last season firing on all cylinders as well against Atlanta. But now, they have to face off a different challenge. The question almost becomes, can they do it on a cold, rainy night at Mallorca? We'll get into that and more, but after the word from our sponsor. It's a new season, but still the same old reliable Manscaped. You can grab yourself a shampoo to get your hair looking as good as Hendrik or anything else you might need. Manscaped has you covered, so head on over to manscaped.com and use code LBR20 for 20% off and free shipping. Okay, that out of the way. Farouk, how are you doing, man? It's a new season. Is it a new Farouk?
Yeah, man, it's we're back to this. Like basically it's a new season. It's after you've had the summer vacation without football and all that, you're just eager for anything and everything that's gonna show up. And yeah, we started the season, with a couple of preseason games. I don't value them, they're not important. And then we go, to the Super Cup. And as you mentioned, like the old guards were, playing just as if the season never finished. And as well, like Kylian Mbappe looks also to be quite settled in. So yeah, man, it's really exciting, man, to see what's gonna happen in the next couple of weeks and months.
Well, yeah, definitely. Not just on our team, like we have a lot of things happening in La Liga as well. A lot of internal transfers, some of them not too big, but yeah. What did you take a look? I mean, what did you make of the transfer season as a whole? Do you think just Real Madrid had a really good transfer season, or do you see any other big clubs making some moves?
Yeah, I mean, when we look at it, like, I mean, we've had quite interesting, things going on in the season. Firstly with the coaches, we had Bayern Munich hiring Vincent Company for some weird reason. I don't know if there are no coaches on the market. And then we saw Manchester United sticking with Ten Hag, Barcelona sacking Xavi Hernandez, getting Hansi Flick. So, it's been quite interesting with the coaching merry-go-round. And then also you look at the player transfers as well. We finished with the Euros, and you're expecting, players like Nico Williams, Dani Olmo to have those big money transfer moves. So far, we've seen Dani Olmo, but Nico Williams and others are still where they are. So it's quite interesting. And then, of course, we go to the whole elephant in the room with Atletico Madrid. The noisy neighbors, and all of a sudden they just have a reserve of cash that no one expects, and all of a sudden they're trying to get two, three players in at once. Already they got Lenormand in. They tried to get Dovic, and Dovic was refusing them moving to Roma. Still, they got the second highest goal scorer in the Liga last year in Alex Solot, and then the blockbuster transfer with Julian Alvarez. The Spider. That's quite crazy, and also they're having a deal for Conor Gallagher of Chelsea as well being lined up. So yeah, man. I mean, Atletico Madrid has been the surprise of the season so far, man, when it comes to transfers.
Yeah, and top of that, do you know what happened to João Felix? Is he still with Atleti?
To my knowledge, actually, like Jorge Mendes, I think the agent of João Felix is currently in London trying to fix something. Based on what I read last, was that Chelsea were offering 35 plus 35 for João Felix. So it's going to be a total of 70 million, 70 million euros transfer, but it's like 35 million guaranteed and 35 million in add-ons. But I think Atletico was looking for something close to 50 million with, some add-ons of 25 million or something like that. So yeah, they're still trying to see that happen. But like based on what I understand, the Conor Gallagher deal and the João Felix deal are somewhat, intertwined, because like normally Chelsea was going to purchase the striker from Atletico Madrid, Sam, I think, Omorodion, if I'm not mistaken, if that's his name or not. Yeah, so that deal collapsed, and then they could not find a way to complete the deal for Conor Gallagher as well, and hence the name of João Felix came up. So it's quite interesting, man, to see what happens with that.
Yeah, I don't know, like why are Chelsea signing so many people just to finish mid-table again? I don't know.
Crazy, man. I mean, it's just really crazy, honestly. Like what's going on at Chelsea, you really don't know. Like, okay, we talk about that this is a business model of buying players, making a deal across 9 years. So it means that every fiscal year, it's not a huge financial commitment and stuff like that. But Yeah, of course there is that, but then not when you have like I think they have like 47 players or 45 players, I can't recall, and it's just crazy, That's the thing. Like, and the thing is that you all the players you buy, like they're not improving the team. This is the thing. It's not like you buy a player that's better than what you already have. No, they're all buying players that are almost all in the same caliber, even less than what they have. So that's the thing. Like, if you barely finished seventh, I think last season was it sixth or so sixth? They finished sixth last season, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So if you barely finished in that position, like, and then you hope to improve the team, but no, you're like basically getting players that are maybe even inferior than what you have. So honestly, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I really would want to get an insight, and that's the thing. Like, I've really waited for someone to write something, for one of these journalists to give a write up and try to explain to us that okay, this is the model that they're following, this is what they're doing there. Well, it seems that everyone is just in the dark as much as we are, man.
I think it's just the American model, like in the NBA, just sign up as many as you can for decent deals, and maybe if they work out, or just move them on the next season.
Yeah, you talk about different deals, but let's not forget like Modric is costing 80 million, like Enzo Fernandez is costing 120, Moses Caicedo is costing 130. So like it's not like they're signing these players for like the way we bought, I don't know, Kamavinga and Fede Valverde, of like, oh, you bought Fede for less than 15 million, you bought Kamavinga for less than 40. Like these are good deals, but like when you go and you start spending money, like I mean, their two midfielders are more expensive than Jude Bellingham. That's how crazy it is. You know, so
Yeah,
are those good deals? You don't even know, man. Like this is the thing.
yeah. It remains to be seen, but yeah, let's see what the season holds. But I guess this is a good segue into, let's take a look at all the transfers that happen in La Liga, at least the interesting ones for the top teams. You basically covered Atletico, if they get the Chow Felix deal going, and then yeah, they absolutely have a well-balanced squad. The only thing is that they only brought in Lenormand in back in defense, but then they lost Mario Hermoso, they lost Stefan Savic as well. So I feel like they have one more defensive signing in them, uh, and obviously they lost Alvaro Morata and Depay as well.
Yeah, I feel like even I think they need one more fullback as well, because I think Renildo naturally is not a fullback. He's a center back by trade as well. So maybe you need that one more fullback in that position. I'm not exactly sure. And that's the thing as well. Like with the midfield, what kind of formation do you want to play? Do you want to play with wingers, or do you want to play without wingers, or is he going to play with a 4-4-2 as also? There's still a lot of questions to ask of Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone. But if there's anything, we know that Diego Simeone is he's also like a genius, man. Like when it comes to coaching, so he will always find a way to figure things out. But yeah, I mean, Atletico is one team to look out for. But eventually, I just still feel like all what they do still is not enough to challenge for the title yet.
Right, yeah. It might take Julian Alvarez a while to get going. We don't know the numbers that he can put up in La Liga yet. But yeah, let's maybe move on to Barca, where they had a much more underwhelming transfer market. They brought in Dani Olmo. He's a good player. People are just saying, because of his injury record, might not exactly pan out. Who else did they bring in? They brought,
Definitely, man.
yeah.
Definitely, like with Daniel, well, that's the thing. Like you never can tell 100% what to expect. Like it's even like at Leipzig as well. That's the complaint. It's been like if he's fit, it takes a while to get going. Once he gets going, then he gets injured again. So it's like a cycle there. So the consistency is just not there actually. But like as we saw in Spain, Daniel was phenomenal, and based on all the I wouldn't say I watched Bundesliga. Like I mean I don't even watch La Liga that much. So that's the thing. Like it's outside of Real Madrid, of course. Like the point is, it's difficult for me to make a comment, but based on all what we've heard and read, it seems like the highlight of his season was the opening game against Bayern Munich in the Super Cup, where literally he tore Thomas Tuchel's Bayern to shreds, and then the Euros as well. Like basically. So in between is just average and nothing exceptional there. So that's the thing. But like, of course, everyone knows Daniel Olmo. Like, he left Spain, moved to Dynamo Kiev when he was very young, and then from there he moved. I'm sorry, after I can't remember where he moved from there, but then anyways, he ended up at Leipzig and stuff like that. So he's someone who is not afraid, to take on a challenge, and let's see how he does that at Barcelona. But again, the thing now becomes Barcelona are still not able to register him yet.
Oh, right, that hasn't happened yet. Oh boy.
So that's quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they don't have to like do any more financial lever things. I think they have the cash for or more. I don't know what the other players like. There are some loan returnees, and I think Ansu Fati is still looking for a team. Eric Garcia is back. Lengler is back. They signed Pau Victor from Girona. So yeah, at least they got rid of João Felix, João Cancelo, Marcos Alonso, Sergio Roberto, those guys with like bigger contracts. So I think they might be able to sign these new players.
I mean, that's the thing. If there's anything, we've seen that Barcelona has always been able to create magic out of nothing. So I would not be surprised. I totally expect them to have their players ready by the weekend.
Like this is one interesting question I had. Like, if Dani Olmo actually stays fit, do you think he can have almost an equal impact as Bellingham had last season?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I just don't see that. I mean, no. I mean, one player I would have, looked out for is actually the purchase of Nico Williams. Because like Williams did not become a star at the Euros. Williams had even more. I think he had the second most assists in the league last year already. You understand? So like it means that there is an output there. You understand? So I don't think it's something there. And interestingly, actually, like I'm actually quite surprised that like none of the La Liga teams actually looked at Villarreal's Alex Baena. Like because Baena had the most assists last year in the league.
Yeah.
And I'm actually quite surprised that no one looked at him because I thought like with Atletico restructuring in the middle of the park, Barcelona also like searching for midfielders. I thought like maybe Bayern would be someone that would come up. Maybe even teams I don't know. Like I feel like one of these two guys will actually look at that guy, but seems like there is no rumor surrounding him, or at least nothing yet so far. Maybe towards the end of the window we might see some foreign clubs take a look at him. But yeah, it looks interesting. But like I don't think to expect the impact of Jude from Daniel. I just don't see that happening, man.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, with Villarreal, I think they just had like way too many attacking departures this time round, so maybe they are not looking to offload him anytime soon. But yeah, Bilbao did make a move, man. Like they signed Diallo from Braga. If you remember, he scored last season against us. So yeah, like
Against us, yeah.
he plays left winger too. So maybe Nico Williams is actually on the move.
Yeah, I mean, based on what I heard, like Nico Williams is gonna stay put for 1 year, and then again, I think a couple of past 2 days we had some rumors that saying that Nico Williams sold Barcelona if they can make the deal happen, like he's willing to, go. But one thing I do appreciate with these players is that it seems even with Martin Zubimendi of Real Sociedad is that, and even Mikel Merino of Sociedad is that they kind of seem to like like be like, okay, if it happens, it happens, but I'm not gonna push, I'm not gonna like put in a transfer request or like put pressure on these guys to make it happen, that kind of thing. If the clubs can come to an agreement, I'm willing to move, but otherwise, my respect for the club is absolutely high, so I'm not gonna like put in a request. I hope it continues to be like that because at least that shows a bit of appreciation between the player and the club, and because already you get paid well enough, so it's not like you're being paid paupers, you're being paid coins anyway. So yeah, that's good to see at least some loyalty.
Yeah, like these Spanish players, man, like they just prefer their hometowns. London is not exactly the best place to be at right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we can move on to Girona then. Girona, they lost Daubik, Savinho, Alex Garcia to Leverkusen. Jan Koto's back. Look, I think he might start with Man City or I don't know, look for some place else. Eric Garcia has gone. Pau Victor again to Barcelona. So yeah, a lot of departures. They brought in Abel Ruiz from Braga for centre forward. He had a decent season last year. They brought in Van der Beek, Brian Gill from Tottenham. He is a decent player. For some reason, they also brought in Oriol Romeo from Barcelona.
Yeah, actually, like Romeo actually moved to Barcelona from Girona. Actually,
Oh,
he
okay.
moved this. Yeah,
So that was a
he
loan.
moved to Barca from Girona. So it's just basically a comeback home for him. But I think that's the thing, like like with Girona, like it's gonna be a big ask, to replicate that because this is what happens, when you especially for players like Alex Garcia, like Garcia, I think even left to Leverkusen before the season ended. I think they announced the deal even before
Yep,
the season ended or something like this, And he was the key player in that team, if I'm not mistaken. Like, of
definitely.
course,
Yeah, he
watch La
was one
Liga
of the
better than
best
me.
midfielders in La Liga last season.
Exactly. He was one of the best midfielders. I mean, if Jude wasn't there, basically he was the best midfielder in the league last season, So that's how crazy it is, That and but this is the thing, like, with professional footballers, this is how it is. Like, it's just similar to what happened with Leicester. Like, they won the league, they only had what's he called left, Jamie Vardy. Everybody left. Everybody else left. So this is just how it works. Like, when you have such a good performance, because they know that you cannot replicate this, and football is a very temporary sport in the sense that it's either now or never. I feel like for players like Artem Dobik, you don't know what's going to happen next year. Okay, this year you hit the goals, but what happens with you next year? There is no guarantee about that. You look at the players like Alex Garcia as well, like, you're just one injury away from missing everything. So when these opportunities come, you take them. But then the question is, like, how do you replace these players that who are so, vital to your team? Of course, you go, I mean, Donny van der Beek, man hasn't played proper football in the past 4 years, man. Brian Hing is a very, very young player who moved, I think too soon for his liking,
Yep.
To Tottenham in England, and it didn't work out. Came back to Spain for a couple of loans. I think he was a loan at Sevilla as well. But still, okay, a young player, maybe you can still do something there. So Abel Ruiz, the striker as well, it's coming from the Portuguese league. You don't know what to expect, as well. So it's not like he's coming from, a season league where, they because we've seen a lot of players move from the Portuguese league as strikers and they flop, big time. So it's a lot of ifs, and couple that now you have to play the Champions League with extra games and all that. So yeah, man, it's looking really, really bleak for Girona, at least from my perspective. But then one thing we have to talk about is that Michel has been a really, really, instrumental part of that. It's not just the players, like the coach has been, in my opinion, the star of the show. So I think it's just down to him to again prove, his coaching prowess again and try to, create something out of these guys.
Yeah, I think with just the couple of star signings, they can't like really put together a decent campaign. But maybe something works out. Like we didn't know all of these players. Dobik just burst on the scene. Alex Garcia, like he was basically nobody was talking about him until last season. So yeah, maybe some of the other lesser known loanies or the new ones can actually make it work. But yeah, remains to be seen. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, let's move on to Sevilla maybe. I think Sevilla is just a story of a lot of old players being moved on. El Nesiri moves on to Fenerbahce. Rafa Mir moves on, I think it is to Betis. I'm not really sure. Sergio Ramos is gone. Mariano Diaz is gone. I don't know if we should really mention him, but yeah.
So is there any news on Ramos? Is he joining any team soon?
No, not yet. Maybe towards the end of the transfer window, we'll get to know more.
Okay. Yeah, and again, I think, I don't know, man, it's going to be quite an interesting season for Sevilla as well. Again, man, like, I just don't see them, back in that glory days of the past anymore. Like, I think it's going to be a couple of struggling. It's going to be another season, struggling, maybe mid-table at best, and then, let's see what happens. But yeah, I mean, like, NSC has been quite a player for them, and, like him moving on as well, trying to replicate those goals, as well, it's going to be something as well.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
yeah, going to be quite interesting to see what Sevilla does this year, man.
Yeah, I think just from all of these, I think just Atletico, maybe Barcelona to a certain extent because Yamal is going to be playing a lot more. Probably they're going to be a bigger challenge than last season.
Yeah, I mean, the point now becomes like for Yamal, like how, because I think he's still 16 or 17, so like also depends on the the development of the player there, and also like how much is too much for such a young player. Yeah, it's all fine and good playing here and there, like playing tournament football in the Euros, it's a total of 7, 8 games. So like how much is too much? This is something that also has to, because we've seen Barcelona, like they're basically a cautionary tale for youngsters since Messi has left. Ansu Fati was there. I think Ansu Fati had 2 ACLs.
Yep.
You look at Pedri's been a shadow of himself. Now you look at Gavi, you don't know how Gavi is gonna come back. And then now it's it's Yamin Yamal, and you don't know what's gonna be with that as also. It's yeah, man. I don't know, man. Like Yamal is a phenomenal player, bro. Like a phenomenal player. But then eventually, like whether you like it or not, like he's fitting into a certain human body, right, into a vessel. So until and unless that vessel can take the toll of that, 50-game season, 40-game season, I don't know, man. Like it's we just have to wait and see, man. I really do hope they can keep him fit and keep him healthy, because like that man is one hell of a baller, man. One hell of a baller.
Absolutely. Do you think the new manager is the right person to, actually fit him in? Flick?
Hansi Flick.
Yep.
I mean, Hansi Flick, we have very limited data about Hansi Flick. This is the problem, like he coached the Bayern Munich side to the treble during the pandemic, and but that Bayern side, was spearheaded by Lewandowski scoring 50 goals a season, man. So like it's not a I feel like it's limited data to work on, honestly. But let's see, and also he doesn't speak Spanish as well, and we know how cutthroat, the Catalan media can be as well. Especially he's not. I mean, you can even see what happened with Xavi Hernandez. I mean, he's basically the baby of the Catalan media. Like if there is going to be anyone that's supposed to be immune from all that, it's Xavi Hernandez. But you saw how when he was treated. So it's going to be interesting. Like it will take a while to get some things going, to get his idea across, and this and that. So the question becomes this: like if you start going into November, and like you start seeing, okay, Barcelona dropping points here and there, because the point is, okay, yeah, he's been at Bayern, it's going to be very similar as well. A draw for Barcelona and Bayern Munich is almost like a loss. It's not almost, it's basically a loss, it's a funeral. So how do you deal with that remains to be seen, man. But like, I think if given time, like every coach, like it's maybe he was able to create something. But the point is, like, time is just a luxury in football, honestly, especially at the highest level, especially for a team like Barcelona, which basically has mortgaged the future for the now. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what Hansi Flick can do or not.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, let's move on to Mallorca. Before that, Sunil is in the chat. Let's read some of his comments. So he says, "Big up, boys. New season settings." He says the 4-4-2 with Sorloth and Alvarez is a very good attack. Yeah.
But the 4-4-2 with Sorloth and Alvarez, that's the question, man. Because like last year he moved back to a 3-man defense, Simeone.
Mm-hmm.
This season, does he move back to a 4-man defense? That's the question as well. I think so, maybe because he bought, I don't know. Let's see, man. Let's see if because that 4-man defense of his with two attackers of this ilk. I think if he gets the midfielders he wants, with Conor Gallagher, Koke, and Raul De Paul, I think they might be able to, and also putting Griezmann there at the top of the diamond, for the 4-4-2. I think that's a very, very, industrious midfield. So they're gonna work hard, and maybe that will work for the back four as well, and it's kind of protect them. Because the point is, like Atleti don't have those defenders of the past days anymore. Even Jimenez was supposed to be, the head to Godin, but Jimenez I think has been injured twice now, very significant injuries.
Yep.
And he's a shadow of himself. Like he's still a very good defender, but he's no longer that 8-tier level defender. He's no longer in the level of those those Godins and so on and so forth. So
I think
because of that,
Reinildo
when
is
you
a good
lose this
shout, man.
kind of
Like if he gets consistent playing time this season, no injuries, then I think the defense can be good.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned him earlier as well. Because but the point is like Renildo has been played as a fullback a lot as well. So will he get to play as a fullback or as a centre back? So because I think it's gonna be Jimenez and Rubel and Norman, as the centre backs, and I think it's gonna be they're gonna put Renildo out wide, as a fullback. Well, yeah, that's gonna be interesting, man. As well, that's the thing. That's the intrigue that new seasons bring, right? Like it's a new season, it's new players. The coach is trying to find a system to shoot players and what is and what not. So, yeah, man, you try to watch this across as the season goes on and see what people are trying to do or what not trying to do. So, yeah, interesting, man. It's interesting.
Yeah, Ricardo's here in the chat. He says, "Vamos, Hala Madrid. Good to see you guys back."
Yeah, we're happy to be back, Ricardo, man. We are definitely happy to be back.
Yeah, can't wait for the season regulars, like the Asheiks, the Madridistas, to come and join us. But yeah, let's move on to Mallorca, man, finally. So regarding them, they brought in Johan Mojica from Villarreal at left back. That is basically the extent of their signing. The rest of them is just loanees returning back, nobody of note. But yeah, they had a very decent season last time out. The Copa del Rey runners-up, lost the final to Athletic Bilbao, but they actually beat Girona on the way.
Oh, yeah.
They finished 15th. A lot of draws. Scoring goals was always an issue, but they always gave a headache. Very hard team to beat. That trend wore on because when we faced them each time it was 1-0. We needed a miracle to actually score against them. I think the first fixture it was away. We needed a Chaumini screamer. And then at home, we needed a Rudiger header in the second half. Yeah, I think, I was seeing some clips from earlier on from last season, and then there were a lot of those Hail Mary moments, man. I just wish this time round we see less of that and, more fun play. Even against deep blocks, I feel like this new team can actually handle it.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. Like as you mentioned, like there's a lot of even in the games you mentioned, like it's been quite really really in uh, so for example, the second leg at the Bernabeu was I don't think it was that tight. It was just that we could not finish because I think I remember it was one of those games that Vinicius could just not find the net. I think like we had a lot of opportunities and really good situations and stuff like that, and eventually we had to score from a set piece. So it's one of those games that it's always going to be scrappy, playing Mallorca because I think even the last game they played us at the Bernabeu, they defeated us 1-0, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
We lost the last game we played, before last season. I mean, so like 3 games ago, we lost to them. So that's how it's been like, playing Mallorca is just a scrappy game, honestly. So it's just one of those teams that, you know what you're going to get. It's just 11 men behind the ball, either it's home or away. They're trying to just hold on for their life, trying to make something happen, trying to hit you on the counter or trying to hit you with a set piece and stuff like that. So it's going to be scrappy, nothing beautiful, as you said, like, these Hail Mary moments are just going to be there, just, a bit of a roll to the left or to the right, and you're finding yourself 1-0 down or drawing 1-1 in the game. So yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those games that you just you just have to hope for the best and just go there, get the work job done, and forget about how the job was gotten done. Something like this.
yep, definitely. So yeah, like they are gonna be back with their best, sitting back, playing some crosses, hoping for the best. I think Mojica ties into that. He can attack kind of well, and yeah, hopefully, Rodrigo can get past him easily. Uh, Other players of note, Kyle Larin, very wasteful player, but he can turn it on if it's his day.
Yeah.
Up front, they have Vedan Muriqi and Abdon Prats. They'll be like rotating. Yeah. So I think I'm looking forward to Vedan Muriqi coming on in the second half, and them getting a corner or two, and then, obviously we leave them all unmarked, and then they score finally.
Yeah, as well. And I think they also got Asano, like the Japanese international, because
Yep.
I remember him from the World Cup as well. So that could also be an interesting player to look out to look out to. And also, as you mentioned, like the physical presence of a striker like Vedat Muruki, like he's basically a veteran of the league at this point. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how he matches up against Rudiger and Militao, because we've seen that Rudiger seems to be in the form that he's been previously. The Militao is still the person that you're not sure what you're gonna get, considering how injured he's been. But yeah, man, it's gonna be another thing, man, to watch out for, in those games.
Yep, definitely. What do you think about just from the couple of games that you've seen Militao in? Do you think he brings way more than Nacho in terms of aerial defense, or it's still very sketchy?
You know, I definitely think he brings more than Nacho in terms of aerial defense. But what I do think is that we lose that, ability on the ball that Nacho gives, the calmness that Nacho brings. I think even yesterday we touched upon that, like Rudiger and Militao are to have quite similar profiles, when you compare them to players like Nacho or, David Alaba. So like I think this is the issue. Like they're two very reactive defenders. So like they're just there for the all action thingy. But like when you look at players like Nacho and David Alaba, like it's okay. Yeah, they're also really good defenders, but also they're also really calm with the ball at their feet, and their ability to bring the ball out, play the pass calmly, and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting as well to see how they will gel together. Militao and Rudiger. So I think it's something that needs a bit of time actually. I think definitely needs time, especially as I mentioned again, the ACL that Militao is coming back off. So I think it needs a bit of time for them to understand each other. But one thing we've seen is that Rudiger, as long as he can try to maintain this form for now, it's even he is enough to cover for two people. That's still like Rudiger is being a beast basically.
Yep.
So yeah, man, I think that I mean that should get us covered at least till they gel, till they start to create an understanding with each other.
Yeah, the other main thing is that, this season we have Courtois back. I think just having him on the team sheet means that we start 1-0 up. You saw the save that he had to make in the early on the second half yesterday. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think any other
Oh,
keeper would have gotten to that. Yeah.
that was a cat-like save, man. That was crazy. I really love that save, man. Honestly, that was a really really good save, honestly.
Yeah.
And for someone as big as Couture to throw himself at that, like that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yep, definitely. So yeah, I guess that we can actually transition into going for the lineups. Do you expect like the same lineup that we saw in the Super Cup?
Yeah, man. I think definitely right now that's what we have, considering the fact that unfortunately Eduardo Camavinga is out for 7 weeks, 8 weeks, something like this. So I think, yeah, what we saw yesterday should basically be more or less what we see on Sunday, because there's a huge gap between Wednesday and Sunday. So I think, yeah, I mean, barring God forbid an injury, I think that's gonna be what we see there. Again, the Thibaut in goal, the fullbacks remain same: Ferland Mendy, Dani Carvajal, Militao, Liga. I don't think we see anything else, man.
Yeah, in midfield too, like obviously, like do you think actually Modric gets a start considering that these guys might sit back?
I don't think so, man. I think Modric starts. Modric gets a starting. Modric comes in the game in the second half. But that's actually a nice shot that you made, though. Like so, but the question now becomes Modric getting a start in place of who then? So like okay, so basically what we played yesterday was, we already talked about the defenders and the goalkeeper. It was now a midfield three of Chouameni, Fede Valverde, and Jude Bellingham, and a 4-3 of Rodrigo, Kylian Mbappe, and Vinicius Junior. So like, how do you fit in Luka Modric into this? Like, do you remove a midfielder for Luka Modric, or do you remove an attacker for Luka Modric?
I think all of these three midfielders they're irreplaceable, man. Like I feel like Rodrigo has to be the fall guy if Modric has to be fit and starting games in La Liga.
Yeah, but then that's the thing, as you rightly mentioned, like, these guys are gonna sit back. So I kind of feel like you need that. I don't know,
You need to
I
widen
feel
the
like you
pitch,
need
definitely.
this.
Yeah, you need Rodrigo in this game.
Exactly. You need to stretch them. Exactly. You need to stretch them as much as you can. And I think that's why you just need that guy. So uh, I don't know, man, honestly, because I also thought about that as well. Like, okay, if I'm going to put Luka Modric, I'm going to put Luka Modric to supplement this midfield three and become a midfield four. But then taking out Rodrigo, takes out the width from the team. But then again, honestly, I don't know what's going to be, because as you saw yesterday as well, like Rodrigo was, we wouldn't use the word ineffective to describe him, but like he was more of like a secondary or tertiary player, in the sense that for both goals, it was his press that led to the turnovers, right?
Yep.
So that's the maximum contribution he made. He had two chances. One of them he hit the crossbar. One of them he hit it straight at the goalkeeper. Like he didn't make a, I don't know, like the keeper didn't even have to make a save for the second shot. It was literally right in his arms. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, keeper, I give you this.
I mean, to
It
be
was
fair, it
literally
was
right
it
in his
was a half
arms.
volley. It was hard, but yeah, the first chance, horrible, man. Like you expect Rodrigo to put those in.
So that's the thing, like, and if you could remember, like, it was a running joke last year, even when we were doing our previews, even in the post match, everyone, even people in the comments were like, oh, yeah, whenever Rodrigo comes, he finds where the goalkeeper is and he hits that exact spot, straight at the keeper.
Yeah.
That's what he's so it's just like, that's going to roll over into this year. And that's what I've been, saying as well, is that, okay, yeah, it's fine and good if Rodrigo is, is this, but the question is that, is this where we see Rodrigo as, a secondary player? So, as a secondary influencer, rather, like, not being in the thick of the action, but like someone that, makes the assist before the assist, something like that, someone that leads to the turnover or something like this. So it's quite interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, man, it's looking quite bleak, man. And I do think eventually, man, like, unless Rodrigo does something drastic, yeah, we're gonna reach the crossroads, man. Honestly, like, it's gonna be like, okay, then what happens? What's gonna happen with Rodrigo or not? Because we have other players, man, and I don't think the club is gonna stagnate without making other purchases as well. Even when we had Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano, even Isco was purchased as well. Similarly, you had players like James Rodriguez being purchased. So it's gonna be quite interesting to see, what happens or what doesn't happen. In the case right now, we have youngsters, people like Arthur Güler, we have people like Hendrik, like, okay, yeah, Hendrik is still new to the team. Maybe he does something, maybe he doesn't. So it's going to be quite interesting. But I do think if things continue like this, similar to what we've seen with Julian Alvarez, like, there might be something,
Yep.
happening somewhere with Rodrigo, honestly, across the line. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. Difficult discussions has to be had.
Yeah, actually, like, funny you should say that, Farooq. Like, it's next year because Sunil is in the chat. He just pasted that Mario Cortegana actually reported today that people close to Rodrigo tell him that he will play at least one more season regularly in Madrid, and then after that he'll actually evaluate his situation as he wants to feel important. So if he doesn't get a really good role this season in all of the major games, I guess he might talk to the club.
Exactly, man. That's the thing. Like, and this is the thing. Like, it's something that I think it's understandable. As a footballer, this is. I mean, as a footballer as talented as Rodrigo is, like, I mean, come on, it's like you, Jacob. Like, the point is, you go to work at a company, and then like they're bringing someone in as well, and like, bro, like I'm here to do my job. I'm not here to, like, be someone who's gonna like, be preparing templates for someone else to use. Like, that's not the job, man. Like, my job is to, bring the glory home. Like to make the to be the main man. Or at least be one of the main men. So I mean that's the thing. So like right now, basically Rodrigo's role is to create templates for Mbappe and Vinicius Junior. So that's just not enough. But let's see, man. Let's see. But honestly, I just don't see a way out of this, with Rodrigo, except and only except if Rodrigo accepts that he is going to play that secondary role. He's going to be a player in the shadows, not the main man. You know, not
Yeah.
at the forefront of the team. I think
And
unless if he personally accepts that, I just don't see any way out of this, man.
I think that can be another path. The path is that since now we have Mbappe, it's not just Vinny he can combine with. So essentially, we're going to create way more chances than last year. I just hope, if he finds his shooting boots, then he can actually be important and, continue in the bigger games.
So that's the thing, actually, Jacob. The point is this: you hit the nail on there in the bigger games. When you go to the bigger games, do you start with a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2? You have Vinicius Junior, Kylian Mbappe. You want to fill your midfield, putting Kamavinga there
Yeah.
with what's he called, Fede, Chouameni, and Jude Bellingham. You want to make it as difficult as it is possible for teams like Man City to run over you in the middle of the park.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So you live with those two attackers, which is going to be Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe, not Vinicius and Rodrigo, not Rodrigo and Mbappe.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
this is the thing, and the point I tried to make also like is that if Rodrigo had created, a scenario whereby he was undroppable by performing very well last year, he would have, had a lot of, like a lot of collateral to be like, yo, bro, you have to find a way to put me in the team.
Yeah.
But like Vinicius, Rodrigo was absolutely average last year. So like, it's not like he's creating, how should I say, he's pushing you to like be like, bro. I mean, just you remember how it was with Fede Valverde when he first came into the team. We were playing a 4-3-3, and all of a sudden they had to fit very Valverde into the team to become a 4-4 to put a 4 as well, and also like what's he called? You can also remember with Isco as well, with Zidane's diamond as well. Okay, Bale's injury also helped, but like Isco started to play so well that even when Bale came back, they could not drop him. You understand? So you have to create a situation whereby you become undroppable. But I feel like Rodrigo has not created that. Hence the reason why, we are all thinking that he's going to be the fall guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other part is that, just Vinny and Mbappe up front doesn't really work or click for some reason. And then we need Rodrigo to actually make the attack work. I don't see it happening. But yeah, that's maybe the only way Rodrigo finds a spot in the team.
Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that. What else? I guess we narrowed down the lineup then. It's Vinny, Mbappe, Rodrigo up top, and then same three-man midfield. Same lineup as in the Super Cup.
Yeah, definitely, man. Same lineups and as in the Super Cup, and we hope they can go there and get their stuff done. But man, I don't know. Like, I just kind of feel like for me, like now, like rather than actually going to the games, I just hope we finish the games without getting injured, man. I don't know, because I feel like people talk about how stacked we are, and I feel like, bro, we are one injury away from a crisis.
Yeah. Actually, though, like
I mean,
maybe not up front. We have players to cover, but then even in midfield, like let's say, God forbid, one of the starters from the Super Cup go injured. I think we're done for.
exactly. Because the point is, as much quality as Luka Modric has, you're going to play a 39-year-old week in, week out for how many months? The next option is Dani Ceballos, man. So like, it's like, you're seeing how the drop starts to happen. And then you go to, you go to the defense, and basically, anyone goes out, we're fucked ceremonially, man. Anyone in that defense goes out, we are ceremonially fucked. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucas Vasquez is here and there, but I mean, he's not a long-term solution. Of course, everyone knows what Frank Garcia is, and then, God forbid, we talk about even the center batsman. God,
Don't talk about the
yeah,
center backs. But yeah, I mean, there is one more option. We can actually play a regular in midfield if worse comes to worse.
yeah. I mean, of course, the point is, if worse comes to worse, you can always put bodies here and there. I mean, if worse comes to worse, even if the center backs go down, you play Kamavinga. Sorry, you play Chouameni there. You bring in what's he called? You bring in Luka Modric back into the middle of the park and stuff like that. These are things that can always be done. But the point is, you would struggle with this, man. I mean, you
Yep,
would struggle with this. This is just the thing. Like, I mean, when you have Chouameni as the CB, Luka Modric as the six, yeah, of course, there's going to be a lot of struggle there.
definitely. Yeah, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Okay. Do you have anything else to discuss, or let's go to predictions?
I think that's. I think that should just be it, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, you weren't on for the preview yesterday. Like, what was your the opinion, the performance of the team yesterday,
I
or
feel
at the
like
post match yesterday?
we're gonna do really well in La Liga, especially compared to last season in for the teams that play low blocks against us. I feel like our attack definitely has an uptick. With teams who press against us, I just feel like we're gonna really miss out on not having Tony Cruz. Choumini, he really needs to step up. If he actually doesn't take up a more role in actually playing build up, we can't like really depend on Bellingham playing week in week out, throwing these monster performances. Right, he has to like slow down or conserve his energy. If that doesn't happen, then we're fucked. Choumini really has to step up. Yeah, that's my main fear going into the season.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. Like, the miss of the of Tony Kroos will be there, man. Honestly, but yeah. Well, anyways, like, man, it was great to see a new number 8. With Fede Valverde, and also his blonde hair.
Oh yeah,
It was quite interesting. But yeah, yeah, yeah. But Fede is a player that we love a lot as well. So yeah, let's say I think also Fede is someone also that needs to learn about to readjust as well. Because I was saying yesterday on the post match, maybe you agree or not, but I kind of feel like Fede is trying to do too much, and I think he needs to understand that now this is no longer the situation. Like, maybe okay, because yesterday Chouameni also was like positionally lacking as well a bit, but I feel like Fede is trying to do too much, and he needs to, as you to borrow your words, conserve, that energy as well. I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you think I'm just thinking too much about that?
I think Ferre can handle it, man. Like we've seen this guy play the same way, week in week out. Maybe towards he might need a break in the middle of the season, but yeah, I'm more worried about Jude Bellingham because, like, it's not like Fede, right? It's not just balls in the box that he needs to take care of. He actually needs to go forward, create chances. He's probably the best creative outlet out there right now. I just can't see a way where if Jude Bellingham is not performing his attacking duties well, I just don't see a team that can like really score in the high stake games. Yeah.
Sunil is calling me, man. What's up?
Let's see. Um, oh, yeah. Mo actually wants to drop in, say hi. Yeah, let's do that. Gonna send him the link. Okay. Mo might be back. Yeah. Okay. Let's take some comments as well. So Mo actually says you cannot hold your horses after they have run away. He's talking about Rodrigo, I guess.
You cannot what? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I think he and Sunil were just having a conversation that, like if Rodrigo is not happy, you can't like make him stay at Madrid. And
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's definitely true.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm here.
hello.
I don't have a face today. I just got back from work, so I hope you'll give me that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nah. We're not giving you that, man. Only one person has that privilege, bro. And you're not at that level yet. You need to earn that right.
Oh, yeah, man, Farouk, how are you? Like, how you been doing?
We've been alive, as you can see.
Yeah, I
Nothing's
can see
changed
that you
much.
have a lot of passion. Huh? If Luka Modric is missing, the team is going to ceremonially fucked. That's what he said.
The what?
The team is going to be ceremonially fucked or something. That's what he said.
Well, it's just to amplify what's gonna happen to us.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but I think we have enough depth. I don't think we would have to go to Dani Ceballos. I think Arda Güler is there. He's probably going to play in the center of midfield if something
You
happens.
think Carlo actually plays him before Ceballos? I don't really think so.
I think in the training they've been trying Arda Güler out in midfield. They've even
Okay.
tried him out for the Tony Cruz role. So
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
been playing deep. He's been trying to build the out attack from the back. So it's going
Honest,
to be interesting. You know?
honestly, yeah, man. Like
For me,
I could see in the preseason, like those switches of play, like they were very Tony Cruz-esque.
yeah, I think midfield. I'm not that too worried about it. Attack either. But for me, the biggest worry obviously is defense, and something I think that's something that Farouk also shared. If something happens in the center of midfield, I don't know what we're gonna do. But yeah, probably Chouameni has to drop back in. But yes, Kamavinga is in year 2 right now, so I don't know what happens. But I think the biggest worry that you guys are pointing out, and I think it's correct, is the fact that we are struggling to build out from the back. And Chouameni really, from what I'm reading, because I didn't get to watch the whole game yesterday, but from what I'm reading, Chouameni really struggled to do that yesterday, and Bellingham had to do a lot of it. So if Chouameni doesn't really step up to his game, and gives us that build up from the back, I think Real Madrid this season, I don't know what to expect. But the good thing is, like, this is the first game, right? So you don't know what to expect going forward.
Yeah. I mean, Mo, what do you think about this? Let's say Chouameni, he carries over this form. He can't like really participate in the build-up too much. Do you think Kamavinga can actually take up the starting minutes then?
For me personally, I've always said that I think Kamavinga is a better passer from the deep compared to Chouameni, especially in the first phases of play. Chouameni, over the past 2 seasons, we've seen oftentimes he gets caught out in possession in deeper areas. The pressure, like the opposition press, always gets to him for some reason. I don't know why that happens, but I've seen that happens too many times. And for a guy who seems to be as technically gifted as Chouameni is, especially going forward, I kind of struggle to understand why that happens so many times with him. But I think, given given the freedom that he's going to get, given the number of times he's going to get those chances this season, I kind of expect it to happen. Like, I expect him to develop and be better.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's take some more comments then. Ajay is here in the chat. He says, "Who is the official La Liga right partner in TV and OTT here in India?" Honestly, I don't know. Last year it was Geo Cinemas. I was expecting it to continue if they haven't allotted it to someone else. Maybe it's fan code, God forbid, like those. So, just for some context, guys, fan code is something like it's pay to watch. So you pay per match or you pay for like a whole set of matches, and yeah, it's way more costly than what you generally see on TV. I hope it's not that.
Yeah, for me, the good thing is, like, in the US, we kind of have ESPN Plus. As much as people hate it, it's like, just pay it, and you can be sure that they'll have the games.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
say,
the thing I hate about streaming is that, like, you have to pay for every single sub to watch every single, like, to watch the Premier League you have to pay for something else, to watch Champions League you have to pay for something else, to watch La Liga you have to. I mean, come on, like, why
For
just don't make everything in one place? Like, I mean, come on, that's too
I think
much.
I think the flip side of this is the fact that if it was on, like, linear TV, it would be a lot more expensive.
I mean, I don't know how much will be a lot more expensive, but I do remember, like, we used to pay for one sub to watch everything. For example, like while I was in Turkey, we used
Uh,
to pay for one sub to watch everything except for La Liga, everything except for La Liga. And then all of a sudden, Champions League broke away from that. All of a sudden, the Premier League broke away from that. But then you now see, okay, to watch this, to watch that, you have to like juggle and be like,
the
okay,
thing is, like, right now, if I pay for cable in the US, it's gonna be like, I don't know, to get all the games, it's gonna be like around 150 $200. if I pay for everything, to watch La Liga, just to watch Real Madrid, I kind of pay like 10, 11 bucks for ESPN Plus and like 5, 6 bucks for Paramount. And yes, so you see, 20 bucks, I get to watch everything I want. If I want to watch Premier League is a different kettle of fish, because like the issue is like NBC wants you to subscribe to cable and they want you to subscribe to their streaming service and everything. So that's the big hassle with that one. But if you're watching a German team, you just pay for ESPN Plus, pay for Paramount Plus. If you're watching Italian Serie A, you just pay for just pay for a Paramount Plus and everything will be taken care of. So in that way, I think it's been better, but obviously there's always going to be a downside, and the other thing is, like, if you don't have that competition, I think prices tend to go up. You're already seeing it, but there's a saturation in the streaming market, and everybody's like trying to see how much people are willing to pay before they disconnect, so they always keep raising prices every year. But yeah, because even with ESPN Plus, I had this, like, when I started paying for them, it's like $7. Now it's almost like up to $11. So
Yeah, that's like, even like my subscription went from $9 to $15. But then, well, I don't bother too much because like it gives me Premier League and the UCL together. But yeah, I just feel like it's like it gives, I don't know, I feel like it gives the, not everyone wants to sail the high seas, but the point is, when they leave giving you too much limitations, then like, I mean, when you like to watch so much football like I do, like, you just have no choice, you just have no option. That's the thing. Because for here, like, Dazan is streaming it's Spanish league, and I think you pay like $25 or $30, something like this. So it's crazy, like,
Wait,
like
are you
having to
guys
pay
talking
all
about
this to
monthly
just
prices
watch.
or like yearly?
for
No,
me, it's
monthly.
monthly.
Oh
Monthly.
boy. Yeah, that is expensive. $25 is expensive just for La Liga. Then you're just gonna watch Real Madrid games.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like, I only watch Real Madrid, so like, I'm like, bro, why would I pay this? I mean, bro, like, that's
For me, just to
4
watch Real Madrid
slices
is
of
like
pizza.
$10. You get to watch La Liga and you get to watch Copa del Rey. For the 2 games that we play, because by third game we are out.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever the Champions League costs.
Yeah, crazy shit, man. Crazy shit.
Mr.
Yeah,
TV is
but
in the
anyways,
chat.
that's a problem for another time.
He says, a brilliant second half performance yesterday. Bellingham is unplayable. Boy, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. Like, Jude yesterday was all over the place, was phenomenal, man, and he deserved the man of the match award. But I think it's as Jacob said. I feel like we can't expect Jude to always give this kind of performances, and I think Chouameni basically is the biggest culprit from yesterday, in my opinion. And I was actually saying to Jacob earlier more as well that I feel like even Freddie had to run too much, had to cover too much ground as well, because I feel like Chouameni wasn't positionally aware enough yesterday. So maybe
I was
that's
actually
something that.
listening to your podcast from yesterday just now on the drive back. I thought that I have less Farouk in my life, so let's get some more. So I was just yeah, I was kind of listening to your podcast, but yeah, I think your points are pretty valid. Chouameni's performance left a lot. The others had to pick up the pace and pick up the pieces and cover for him. So going forward, I don't think we can survive if especially Chouameni is struggling a little bit. And I think something that also needs to be kept in mind is the fact that Atalanta are kind of expansive, so they leave a lot of spaces for us to exploit. I don't know, with the game coming up against Mallorca, or I think it's on Sunday. So that's going to be pretty interesting for me, because you guys talked about how Mallorca are defensively strong. But they have I think Arasate this year managing them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a different kettle of fish. And then when you add the fact that Pablo Maffeo is going to be, I don't know if you guys know this, but like last year there was, like, towards the end of the season, there was this controversy relating to him, and he was like liking a lot of posts about Atleti insulting Madrid, and there a lot of Madrid fans are getting on his on his Twitter and everything. So it's definitely going to be spicy when the game happens, especially given the fact that it's away, in Mallorca. So I don't know what kind of Mallorca side comes out, because they have a new manager now, and the manager is like pretty good. Like he did a lot of good things with Osasuna. So for me, it's going to be interesting to see how we cope with it, especially given that we won't have the same space. You guys mentioned about how dynamic our front line is going to be, but now we lack that other dimension that we were appreciating last season, the lack of Joselu. So no person to put crosses into for Real Madrid, no get out of jail free card. So that's definitely going to be interesting for me.
Yeah, I mean, there is Bellingham, but yeah, it's just Bellingham.
I mean, if Bellingham has to bring the ball out from the back and then Bellingham has to be in the box for to score the headers, I don't think that quite works out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That will be interesting though. That will be interesting. I feel like the team is gonna, have a different kind of performance. I think already it's okay, like yeah, Danny Carvalho is a good crosser. It's not like, Ferland Mendy is waiting to cross anyways, like, as we talked about, a couple of weeks back or months back, I guess. I mean, Ferland Mendy is a player that throws in 10 crosses for the whole 50 appearances that he makes. So I think we're set on that. So it's not a big deal, with the crosses and all that. But I think one more trying to say is like, that plan B is no longer existing in the sense that you don't have a second, a second option to fall on if the first plan doesn't work. It's going to be interesting to see that, right? But one thing for sure is that we have the synergy between the guys and Kylian Mbappe is definitely not there yet. So we just need to give it a bit of time to see what the guys do or what they don't do. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens or not.
Yeah, I think especially with the Rodrigo factor, I want to see how he does on set pieces, because I think set pieces are going to be pretty key tomorrow. Because Mallorca, I'm pretty sure, are going to set out to frustrate us. Not tomorrow, on Sunday. I'm pretty sure Mallorca are going to try to frustrate us, and if it doesn't work out, maybe at what time do you bring on Arda Güler and put him on the set pieces to take advantage of those situations? I think we have a lot of interesting solutions to get around it. But the thing is, like, this is going to be first game. There's going to be a lot of rust, and I think Chouameni also struggled yesterday because we can't forget that it was his first game of the season. After the break, these guys, they haven't even played in the preseason, and I think they came back into training on the 7th, so they just had a week of preseason and they're playing the first game. So we kind of have to give them a little bit of a leeway. Uh, Given that, I'm not sure like if Real Madrid are obviously going to come out on all fronts, storming the Mallorca stadium and winning with a big margin. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game. Even a draw, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, oh no. Man, but like honestly, I was kind of underwhelmed with Rodrigo's set pieces yesterday. Like, do you think there's anybody else who can actually take them?
For me, like obviously, is the one I said, Arda Güler. You have to decide when to bring him on, because Arda Güler is probably the best set piece taker in this team right now.
You don't think Valverde can do it? I mean, I've seen him take it for Uruguay.
Valverde for I don't know which you want him to be taking crosses like corners.
Yeah, I've seen him once or twice, but yeah, I just want someone different from Rodrigo as an
No,
option.
and for me personally, it's Arda Güler. Arda Güler has to be the one taking the corners.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw what he did with the Turkey in the Euros, right?
Yep.
So for me, I don't see an option better than him on the team.
Yeah, man. Even in preseason, I honestly felt like he was a better. I mean, just in corners at least, he was probably better than Cruz from last season.
I don't know about that, but yeah, definitely Arda Güler is like pretty good. That's what I would say. I mean, before Farouk already enrolls me in Turkish citizenship plan.
All right. Let's take some more comments. Danielson says, Hala Madrid, guys. What's up, Farouk, my guy?
What's up, Danielson, man? Long time no see. Good to be back for the new season.
Heck yeah. He says, what a brilliant performance by the team second half. Indeed, man. Indeed. Sunet says, look up for me. Luka can actually deliver good set pieces. Yeah. So our plan is to basically forget about set pieces until the second half.
I don't know. I'm not even sure that if they're gonna keep the same squad, same lineup. Because Ancelotti, if you guys remember in the preseason, he was talking about how he's gonna rotate more and bring on enforced arrests or something.
Really? Ancelotti said that?
Yeah.
He has discovered something new, rotations.
Wow.
So at the age of 70, he has leveled up. Yeah, but that's what he was saying. So I wouldn't be surprised if if there are a couple of changes going for the Mallorca game.
Yeah. I don't know. We were saying that just having Rodrigo on the lineup will mean that we can stretch them more, and then we can have more opportunities. Well, that would mean that we keep the same midfield.
Yeah, I think an interesting point is the fact that Camavinga got injured. So I don't know how much that plays into the formation that the team is deciding. because if Kamavinga was there, maybe you could have tried something different. But I think the way this game is going to pan out is the fact that Mallorca are going to sit deep and Real Madrid are going to attack, even if it's at the San Moy. So it definitely makes sense you go with 3 forwards. But for me, the only issue is how to figure out, how we get the ball into the right place for our players to score. Because I think in the podcast yesterday, Farouk and the guys, they were talking about how Kylian Mbappe, whenever he's receiving the ball, he always had his back to the goal, and he wasn't getting to make those runs in behind. And tomorrow, the space isn't going to be there for those runs to be made. So how we deal with that is going to be very important. I think with Kylian, especially, he has the ability to sometimes take multiple players on and still score in a crowded box. If you guys remember, he scored that goal against us, at Parc des Princes, when we lost 1-0. So that kind of thing, if he pulls out something like that, or maybe Vinicius doing something, incredibly silky, causing some chaos, somebody comes from the midfield and scores, I think that could work out. Otherwise, if Mallorca are well organized, I don't know. I think we would have to rely on set pieces, especially corners.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Moments of individual brilliance.
Yeah,
Hail Marys. Yeah.
yeah. Farouk's kryptonite.
Yeah. Anyways, it's good. When you have the best players in the world, it's fine that you're relying on moments of individual brilliance for. It's quite interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
I mean, yesterday we had Sayed on as well, and interestingly as well, he was also a fan of the fact that you shouldn't rely on organized chaos.
yeah, I just noticed that. Sunil was mentioning about how you and your hypnotic ways are taking over the podcast. So. But
Yeah,
honestly, for me, Mafia versus Vinicius is the battle to watch for Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Mafia
I do remember the controversy last year.
Yeah, I mean,
remember
whenever
there
he
was a
faced
controversy last
Vinicius, I don't think he did really well. I feel like Vinicius got the
I
best
think
of him.
it's not about him doing well; it's more about him, causing some trouble. There are some guys who are always trying to get into Vinicius' head, and sometimes he lets them. So
Yeah.
I mean, not sometimes, always Vinicius lets them. That's the thing. Because the thing about it, when you look at the biggest blemish of Vinicius's performances this year, it's being suspended for the elimination game in Brazil. Like he literally he got a yellow card, which was not necessary. You understand? So the same thing, even yesterday as well, he got a yellow card, which was basically not necessary as well. So, and with Vinicius, at least for me, I always feel like if that yellow card comes first early in the first half, and if the game is still at 0-0, I'm not too sure where the game is gonna go, man. If we're winning and everyone is balling and it's a lot of olays, then it's fine. But otherwise, with Vini, I just feel like that's that one thing that also he needs to try to work out of the game, especially in the league. People are just specifically targeting him to get under his skin, and he's known to complain to the ref, have a rash tackle here and there. So yeah, man, it's quite interesting.
I think this time around, teams just can't afford to just focus on him. Just having Mbappe in there might relieve some of the pressure on him.
I think what Farouk says is pretty interesting, given the fact that if something happens, we just take Vinny off, we don't really have a natural substitute, because these guys were talking yesterday about how Brahim is a little bit level down from where Vinicius is, and then even if you shift Kylian out wide, I don't know if you can get the same presence in the midfield, especially given that Joselu is not there anymore, and Enric is far from ready, and even if he was, he doesn't quite have the same presence like a Joselu or somebody playing as a reference. So it's going to be interesting in the preseason. I still the ever hopeful person I am. I was hoping that Latasa would actually show something, but man, that guy was a big disappointment, and now he's gone to Valladolid, so we don't have anything. And I think Alvaro Rodriguez got injured in the preseason, so it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, let's take the last comment of the day. Danielson says, "Please press the like button, guys. Heck yeah, smash that like button." All right, we didn't do predictions yet. Mo, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go with a draw.
Oh boy, a 0-0?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, I'm going to go for the safe option, just a 1-0 from exactly the scoreline.
1-0 is never the safe option, Jacob.
It is with Mallorca, man. 1-0. The last 3 times we faced them, it was 1-0. So, same stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go with the 2-0, man. I'm gonna go with moment of magic from Kylian Mbappe. We're gonna see the glimpses of Kylian doing what Kylian does. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a bad game to watch, but I think we're gonna just do enough to get the job done.
And it's going to be Kylian's first taste of La Liga, pure La Liga football. Sorry, it's not football, it's La Liga.
I mean, until he faces Getafe, I think he can't get the real taste of La Liga.
I mean, I would say Mallorca is up there. So.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Considering, Farooq, that you're the only guy with a face here, you want to do the outro?
Wow. Okay, what do we do on the outro? Okay, yeah. So, what do we do on the outro?
Look at Farooq. He's trying to get out of frame and hide his face.
Yeah, that's it. Like, okay. So, thanks to our partners at Real Madrid Committee. They have a very good Instagram page. You can check them out. And also, a shout out to the sponsors of the video, Manscaped. They are the pioneers of men's grooming. You can just go to the manscaped.com and use the code LBR20 at checkout for a 20% discount. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell a friend of a friend and enemies of friends, just to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell button, like the videos and spread the word. And I guess without further ado, I say, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Madrid.